You're listening to a download from the outdoorstation.co.uk. Number 539.
Hello and welcome back to the Outdoor Station after a very long break since my last release of a podcast in February 2021. It's now October of the same year, and a couple of things have happened recently which have motivated me to sit down once again and switch on the recording gear. But before I get into recent events, I think I owe you, the listener, an explanation of why it's been silent from me these last 8 months. As it happens, I've been struggling since February to actually put my finger on it, to provide a straightforward, definitive answer to the question why. And I'm sorry to say, it still isn't coherent, but a random series of events. Regular listeners, if I still have any, will know that during the 12 months prior to February, I had been investing a lot of time, energy and effort into creating, promoting, producing and broadcasting a series of live video streams based around our key subject of self-powered travel. Sadly, thanks to my superfast broadband arriving out here in the sticks halfway through COVID, I was actually late to the live streaming party. So I threw a lot at it. As it was a solo operation, it became emotionally draining, doing everything from obviously all the admin, contacting guests, doing follow-ups, doing the technical checks, of course the never-ending social media, right through to animating graphics and programming the switches and the computers, etc. Just as I have high production standards for the podcasts, which you've come to expect from me, I wanted the live streams to share the same values. If nothing else, to make it stand apart from the amateur Instagram double headers with poor audio on a screen covered in writing and emojis. But the cost of this ultimately was the standards, and therefore the investment took 5 or 6 days to prepare for a 1-hour live stream. My choice, of course. Coming into 2021, technical exhaustion was really starting to wear me down. That and the frustrations and lack of engagement on social media, I just didn't feel like I was getting anywhere. And to be honest, it's something I'm just not very good at. It was during this time that Abby Barnes wanted to interview me for her YouTube channel podcast series. I was very flattered and I agreed to it. So I spent a nice couple of hours going through my life and outdoor history, culminating on how I find myself where I am today. I don't know what it was that became the straw that broke the camel's back. It might have been listening to my checkered past being revealed out of my mouth and knowing some of the secret hidden frustrations and disappointments contained within, or my not sleeping, continually worried about some technical aspect or other, or creating more content I wanted to do to give the show an extra edge. But whatever it was, the culmination ended in this, that the joy, the passion, the desire to share stories, the desire to talk to people, to hear their stories, or knowledge, or skill, or as I like to call it, my mojo, just evaporated overnight. And I couldn't bring myself to walk into the studio and switch anything on and start again. Was it exhaustion or depression, or a combination of both? I remember the interview I did with Keith Foskett on the subject of the black dog and just how it drowns you in self-doubt, negativity and an inferiority complex. Whatever it was, they were the reasons behind the silence and these podcasts. I'm still paying for them to be hosted online, of course, but every day began the same way, with that little devil sitting on my shoulder, asking, "Really? Is it really worth it?" Anyway, moving the clock forward to August of this year, and on the 11th of the month, J.R. Newton, no relation to J.R. Hartley, I understand, and I assume that's a John or a Jim, put a note on the Outdoors Station podcast Facebook page, basically saying he missed the podcast and, hey Bob, what's going on? Within a few days, a series of very supportive comments were added by numerous people, numerous listeners, of course, from all over the world. Faithful listeners such as Martha Wheaton in Canada and Sarah Johnson in New Zealand, plus loads of others I recognised dotted around the UK. The result of this was that my spirits were lifted enormously. As I say, I'm useless at building engagement and conversation online. Wrong age, wrong sex, I think. So these spontaneous comments really did get me to the base of the ladder, ready to climb out of this deep, dark place I found myself in. Right, I thought. I'm ready, I thought. Time to find that mojo and give it a damn good thrashing. I started contacting people for a new outdoor audio-video magazine idea I had. A little bit of news, a little bit of knowledge, a few skills, what's going on, and some real-world gear reviews. Plus, my old podcasting chum, Andy Howell, was going to add a little banter and intelligent observation to the proceedings. It was all going so well. I had a plan. It was starting to come together. I was sharing the admin load to reduce the stress. This time it was going to work. This time it was going to be a hit. And the airwaves and the screen would fill the digital space left by the overnight testing influencer brigade. It was going to be great. And then, out of the blue, Andy Howell's wife, Kate, called me last week and told me that Andy had died the first week of October, a few days before, from an undiagnosed cancer after going into hospital following a series of minor complaints. Kate knows just how much pleasure Andy got from and gave to the outdoor community and was willing to allow me to share this news with you. Andy's input to my podcasts has been immense. It's been legendary, in fact, ever since we bonded in 2006 over the mutual frustrations we shared of the attitude of the old brigade on the TGO Challenge forum, who thought the idea of blogging and podcasting about the event would promote it to new people and they would get squeezed out. Well, yes, it did, as at the time, the challenge was struggling to fill the 300 places. Now, there's always a reserve list. It wasn't due to us solely, of course, but we did help in a big way get the information about this fabulous event out to a much wider international audience.
I wonder if you'd stay, if you knew the things I've kept away. I wonder what you'll do. Would you charge me with your hate? You never really knew just how terribly I needed you. You are nowhere to be found. I was falling fast into the ground. Have I lost? Have I lost you? Have I lost? Have I lost you? I hurt myself that night. There was no one there to end the fight. Remember what I did. He was no one really, just a kid.
and me. Much too much, but not enough, you see. I thought that it's okay, dying slowly just today.
Have I lost you? Have I lost you? Have I lost you? Have I lost you? I wonder if you'd stay, if you know the things I've kept away.
Andy was always supportive of the outdoor station and my efforts, and not only added a balanced voice, logical, calm explanation, and a wealth of additional outdoor experience, he was also a great sounding board too. When I was kicking around ideas to promote things or talk about events we could go to, or brands we could chase and discuss, or whatever, he listened and responded. When I was down, frustrated, or just plain angry, he would sit me down with a virtual cup of tea and wait for me to calm down, and then, like all good friends, build me back up again. But we also shared the same outlook and humour, which you can hear time after time on any of the podcasts, especially in the extremely popular Christmas with Intent Wild Camp number 380 and 381, where I cooked a 3-course Christmas meal one wet, windy winter's night in Wales in 2014. If you put his name into the search box in the Outdoor Station website, you'll see from the number of podcasts that appear what kind of contribution he made to me and to the outdoors community in general. Although we walked many miles together and enjoyed many beers, we rarely touched on his work in the political world or his other passion for guitar playing. He was understandably equally known in these niche areas too. He was a fascinating individual, someone who could talk at all levels to different people with vastly different interests and backgrounds. He would listen and contribute accordingly. I never heard him speak once with malice against anyone, which is not something you can say about many people these days. Unfortunately, Andy is the second close friend with a shared passion for the outdoors that I've suddenly lost with absolutely no warning at all. It's another reminder that we shouldn't take people or moments of shared pleasures with others, or even those familiar strangers you see every single day but you never know their name, for granted. To all the people listening to this, those I've walked a few miles with, and those I've shared time with in whatever form, I just want to say, you've all contributed to my life and my way of seeing the world, and I thank you for it. Next time you walk, hike, or camp in someone's company, be sure to tell them and thank them for being there for that moment together, no matter the weather. There's no telling if you'll be able to do it again. Andy has left a big hole in my life and the outdoors community, but it goes without saying it is nothing compared to the effect it has had on Kate, his wife, and close family. Our thoughts and prayers are with you all. As I mentioned, Andy was a great guitar player, and yet the first time I heard him record anything was when he wrote this song about the TGO challenge. And to be honest, I hadn't really listened to it in any great detail until this last week. Andy would be the first to admit that he wasn't much of a singer. But I leave you now with this ditty, which, even though not perfect, shows what love and understanding he had for the TGO challenge, some of the characters he met in the years he undertook it, and the love for the outdoors in general. It's recorded and sung with passion, laughter, and joy. This has been a very raw and open podcast, and I'm not too sure where it will take me next. But I did want to celebrate in some way and thank Andy for being a significant part of it, for being a solid friend and someone I have been proud to know. I just wish I could have said it to his face.
Two, three, four.
Oh, I can't stop now. I've 20 miles to go. I'm walking east along the tracks. I'm on the TGO. Come gather round me, people, a story I will tell. 300 challenge heroes on the road to heaven or hell. They start up on the west coast and end of the North Sea. Why they come back every year, well, it's a total mystery. From the hills out in the west to the Great Glen and the rest, whatever route you choose will surely put you to the test. From the Cairngorms magic heights to the lowlands of the coast, it's really hard to say which bit of Scotland I like most. Oh, I can't stop now. 20 miles to go. I'm walking east along the tracks. I'm on the TGO. Now some they walk so fast, and some they walk so slow. Some sleep in wigwams, some palaces of gold. And some they walk so high, and some they walk so low. But on the TGO east is the only way to go. And if while yomping through Monolly or Pete, you come across a shabby soul resting his weary feet, don't fret at his appearance, you see that he's a friend. This ain't no Celtic wizard, but our own Cressita's end. Oh, I can't stop now. I've 20 miles to go. I'm walking east along the tracks. I'm on the TGO. And when you walk so long, and when you walk so far, there's never a finer sight than a famous challenge bar. There's Croydon in the corner, then it's pitching at his side, telling the tallest stories, and you laugh until you cry. And up at Callagher Lodge, you never can go wrong. For just a nod and a wink, John Joyce will sing you a song. There's a beady in the corner, clearly lived the life of sin. Some say that it's the devil, but it's Sloman on slow gin. Oh, I can't stop now. I've 20 miles to go. I'm walking east along the tracks. I'm on the TGO. can't stop now. I've 20 miles to go. I'm walking east along the tracks. I'm on the TGO. As we walk across the mountains, we're never on our own. The team of Challenge Control will always track you down. They provide the inspiration to keep us on our path, but ignore them at your peril or face the fiery wrath when it's over in Montrose. There's whiskey all around. Challenge who was to be made and orphans who track down. And when it's time to go, you'll see us shed a tear, but there's never any doubt we'll all be back again next year. Oh, I can't stop now. I've 20 miles to go. I'm walking east along the tracks. I'm on the TGO. Oh, I can't stop now. I've 20 miles to go. I'm walking east along the tracks. I'm on the TGO. Oh, I can't stop now. I've 20 miles to go. I'm walking east along the tracks. I'm on the TGO.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. To hear or see more from our extensive free library, please visit theoutdoorstation.co.uk.